The joint MD of Savera Hotels and Sham Group of Hotels, O2, the gym, Duchess Club, Babes on Bikes, and of course, this is just the ones that we know of.
I think nothing works without a purpose. I'm one of the fortunate people who had fantastic men around her all the time. I think a woman can remain like a woman and get where she wants to get. You know, I don't believe in...
Hey, macha, listen!
We've got Ms. Nina Reddy in the studios with us. That's right. We all know her as the joint MD of Savera Hotels and Sham Group of Hotels, the Brew Room, O2, Duchess Club, Babes on Bike, and now the latest Change a Life Trust. Something that is constantly evolving is your attitude, your kind of approach to life itself. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning, Ms. Nina. Thank you so much. Welcome to Metro Mornings.
Good morning, and thank you so much for inviting me here, Shilpa.
It's a pleasure.
This is one of my favorite places to be in, right? And
to be here having this conversation with you, I think the one thing that truly sets it apart is that you have seen how much it has changed, right? You have seen firsthand, or even if I may venture out and say, you have experienced firsthand the changes in society itself. So I'm going to ask you the most obvious question. How do you do it? How do you manage all of these? How do you, kind of keep it going, reinvent and stay relevant?
I think it's all about, just updating frequently. I think it's important. Otherwise you die out, and that's it,
True.
So if you want to be something, I think you need to work on yourself, and that's where it all starts. For example, I think this is for all the women who think they don't have time, and then they sacrifice their time for the family or for work or for anything else. I think girls don't do that. I think keep yourself as a priority, because it's only when you have self-care, you can be the best.
I think this is such a 2022 statement, because I think the last year and a half has taught us to kind of, focus on ourselves, our physical health, our mental well-being, all of this. But I know that you've been doing this for a while now, and that's why I feel like you're so ahead of your times. Was it difficult when you kind of wanted to start off your entrepreneurial journey?
I tell you what, I would just look around me, and whatever was missing around me, I would want to create that.
Start that off.
Yeah, so that's how this whole thing was. Fitness was one of them. And I would be going for Suraya. I call her my mentor in fitness, and bless her, because that's how I really realized what fitness was about. I was in my early, late 20s. I had just had my second child. And as usual with childbirth, different things happen to our bodies.
Right.
The first child, it was okay. I came back to shape without any problem. But the second one, it was a bit difficult. So that's when someone said the classes which are going on at TTK Center, close to my house, and go and check out this lady called Suraya. And that's how my fitness journey started.
But that's lovely how, just like one sentence saying, go check it out, can change so much. And I think you're kind of, underplaying how much of a push it needs from in your own mind.
And that time, you're still nursing your baby. And my baby was about 3 months old at that time. So it's between nursing period that you have to manage the time. But the time I went and I saw these gorgeous looking women, they're working out all ages, especially a girl called Rachna, okay? She's still my really good friend today. And I saw her right in the front, and the energy that was happening, I said, I'm going to go back with more energy if I come here. And there is really no looking back after that.
That's lovely. In fact, the one thing that, that I'm kind of taking back from the beginning of this conversation itself is that I just saw this video a couple of days back. I was just mentioning to you, saying that, if you ever congratulate a man, he'll say, thank you very much, I worked very hard for it. But when you congratulate a woman, she attributes not just her success, but the support, the well-wishing to her friends, the community. And just from 2 minutes into this conversation, I'm seeing a live demo of this, like Miss Suraya, Miss Rachna. I'm sure we're going to learn a lot more names of this. So give me an insight into what it is like to have this community of people who are constantly encouraging you to kind of, build that network to better yourself every single day.
I guess it's a matter of choice again. What are you choosing from that? What kind of a community, what kind of a group you want around you all the time? And let me tell you, 10 positive people are equal to 1 negative person. It can be like really ruining the whole thing. So you really have to choose where you want to be. And if you're getting the wrong kind of vibes, or if you're feeling down because of you're with someone, I think it's just to move on from that.
That's lovely. I love that. I love that attitude because sometimes it is so simple. We tend to put too much thought into it or too much worry into it, and just moving on is probably the best case scenario. But like you were saying, just building that community, I think a lot of people don't, or rather didn't, have that option. But thanks to a platform like like Duchess Club, for instance, it's been so well established that I know that a lot of people meet their like-minded counterparts or
Yeah.
friends. So how did that idea come about?
So, this thing about, let me tell you, I'm one of the fortunate people who had fantastic men around her all the time. Whether it was starting from my grandfathers or my father, my father-in-law, husband, brothers, brother-in-law,
Right.
name it. And today it's my sons-in-law. Okay, so I mean, I'm really fortunate. So I really want to give them that credit, because they see that you need to make something of yourself.
Right.
And anyway, I'm giving them the time, so they make space for me.
I have to ask you, does a smile have to do with all the success and all the, excitement that you have towards life, or is there a secret?
It is just that, when you have a choice of looking grumpy and cheerful, I think I choose the.
The smiles. We always know that, you've been a super ambitious woman, and not just today, not, a couple of years back, but to my knowledge, or at least from what I have read, I have found that, you have always had that ambition. Take us back in time, and how did that kind of start?
Okay, it's all about, I would like to change ambition to a purpose.
You're purpose driven.
Yeah, because I think if it is only self-centric, I mean, okay, you want all these diamonds, or you want just another beautiful house or a beautiful car. I mean, that's so limited. I mean, it's not very exciting, because how much is the happiness that can hold you to that, It's only when you think about, okay, along with you, 10 more people can benefit, 20 more people can benefit, the families can become better. I think that's what drives me.
That's amazing. So what's the core purpose?
To make a difference as long as I'm around, to as many people as possible, and spread joy in my kind of way. I mean, I can crib about the whole world, but I can change my world around me, and if I'm able to do that with 100, 200, whatever number of people, I think I've made it.
That's lovely, because not just the people who are, in your immediate circle, but I feel like so many of us, just by extension, have kind of developed or evolved alongside you. So I do have to say thumbs up right there. But another thing that strikes me personally throughout the course of, your journey is one thing where you are constantly being relevant. Say, for instance, you do have an establishment like the Savera hotels, like the Sham group of hotels, but at the same time, you have kept up with the times, and you have a brew room to kind of, reach out to a newer catchment. So is that one of the driving forces where you're never outdated, or you're never, left behind?
Yes, Shilpa, it's a very conscious effort in any kind of business. Like, even for example, take dressing, for example, okay? You can't be dressing in yards of fabric when it is also a sense of comfort. Today's women is about comfort also.
Right.
So, you can wear a sari, but wear it more comfortably. You don't have to wear very fussy blouses to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Just like that. Business also, you have to keep on updating yourself, because people are looking at novelty every time. And it's short-lived. It's sometimes very frightening, that you have to be little up on your game. And I've also seen other people around me who've lost out, in their journeys, because they didn't want to change.
Keep up. Okay.
And the change doesn't come from anywhere. It comes from your own mind. You have to be open.
Because I think that's a constant state of youth that you have in yourself as well. And when I say you, I definitely mean you as a person, because, when we talk about an establishment evolving, that's great. But the person behind that also has to kind of update their mindset, because I know a lot of people, like you said, who are set in their ways, who are like, it's my way, or the highway. And is it difficult to kind of update yourselves from time to time, whether it's your business, whether it's your personal life, fitness, even fashion?
Actually, it is. It's boring to be
The same.
always. It's as simple as that. I mean, how long do you want to see the same face in the same kind of a thing? The same thing with the environment around you. It's novelty, right? I mean, it gets so mundane otherwise. So you can use all your creativity and try out different ideas. One thing I'm not afraid of is failure.
That is amazing. Right. And what is the biggest fear that you have, if not failure, then?
I don't think I have any fears.
That gap where you had no idea. What am I scared of? None.
No, if I have a fear, then I go ahead and face it, because I think that's best done that way. I don't shirk responsibilities. In fact, I love taking on responsibilities because I think you grow in the process.
Right, right. And I think that's something that we have seen you do firsthand also. So, it completely does justify what you have done over the last couple of years. And that's why I have to ask you, when you're running so many businesses in different industries, whether it's hospitality, whether it's fitness, whether it is an NGO like your animal welfare for that matter, what does it demand of you?
You need to find the like-minded people around you. I think it's most important because you can't be everywhere. But your vision and your dream can be everywhere, right? So you select the kind of friends, the kind of the team that you want to build around you, and then you just influence them. And then, of course, take their ideas in return, because a team is all about that. You can't keep driving your own ideas, but somewhere it has to match with your dream and their purpose also.
The alignment has to be perfect, and
it's very, very important to be a good team player first.
So one of the main brands that a lot of us associate with your name is the Duchess Club. Was it really path-breaking right in the beginning to have a group of women and doing things for themselves, just cheering each other on?
Like I said, it's all about a purpose, Shilpa. Really, because I'm talking about my team that formed the Duchess Club. It's another friend called Rati, Anu Sachdev, Anu Agarwal, Sujata Mundra, and myself. That's 5 of us. I always believe in the numbers 3 and 5, which have worked for me for different teams.
Lovely.
Like, for example, if it's O2, it's Jeffrey and Ernest Vijay, And for Babes
on
bikes and Bobs on bikes, it's another lady called Vibha, Preeti, and myself. So it's like that. Okay?
Great. So the prime numbers and the odd numbers work in your favor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So coming back to Duchess Club, this was started about 20 years back, and we're actually crossed at 20 years. We're all from the background of Roundtable and Lady Circle, and where we've had a lot of fun being together and growing together. So at 40, you retire.
True.
Okay? So at 40, then you're at loggerheads about what are we going to do next.
What's
so we
next?
We decided to get a lot of women together and give them the same experiences that we've had.
But that's lovely because, 20 years back, like you said, for instance, I'm sure there were a couple of groups where men can get together, talk about, the challenges that they're facing at work, giving each other tips and all of that. But that wasn't an existing platform for women at all.
So you bring a group of people together and then tell them that women can have fun and age is no bar, Like even today, our youngest member must be about, say, 25. And the oldest is about 70, 75.
And everyone.
The 75-year-olds have the maximum fun.
Needless to say, I think that is something that I have seen you guys doing because one of my, the most exciting part of watching the Duchess Club is the rallies that you have.
Right.
So this, I think, broke one of those, stereotypes where women can't drive, women can't follow directions, navigation, all of this. And then here you were, not just doing it, but having fun while doing it. So how important is having fun on a platform like this?
I think it's most important. I think that's where it really starts from. Because, as women, we take on different jobs, we forget to have fun.
Right.
But when you use that as an element, everything evolves from that. You're not worried about what anyone will talk about or what will anyone think. Nothing. You're just having a good time and good, clean fun.
Right.
So that's the basis of Duchess Club. And in the process, you grow.
And of course, you've been growing for 20 long years, ma'am. So how much has it changed in terms of the audience participation itself? I'm sure right in the beginning, people were a little skeptical. Was Chennai one of those cities where people were forthcoming?
It was actually a strategy, Shilpa. We are 5 of us, and we all belong to different backgrounds. Like I'm a Reddy, and then we have a Mallu and Rati, and then we have
an Agarwal, you said.
Yeah. So what we did is, it was like, I said, you get 50 members, I get 50 members, whatever.
Okay.
So starting off itself, we had about 250 members.
Okay.
Each of us got from our relatives, friends. So we just got them together. And we actually took the advice of our honorary members. We chose those members also, like Shivashankari Amma, Suhasni Maniratnam, Dr. Pritika, Anita Ratnam, Mrs. Garyali, all of them are our honorary members. And we approached them and I said, please be with us. So even today, all of them are there with us, guiding us at every point. And we five, yes, members who came in earlier did drop out because they didn't know what it was all about. But we have today a vibrant set of women who have grown in different ways, who have evolved, and we have also evolved along with them. So many successful women.
That's lovely. And talking about success in all these platforms, I think one of the primary platforms I think that I know of was the fitness space itself, which is kind of, untapped into at that point when you launched O2. I know because it made, such a news around it being one of the first standalone fitness centers or gyms at that point. And right now, of course, O2, has kind of kept up, but also you have your babes on bikes, which is still fitness, but still very, very different. So give us an insight into BOB.
Yeah, so like O2 is again about more than 20 years old now. Things have different. Yes, you have more gyms, but we were always the pioneers
First,
in it.
right?
And then, but we keep on evolving there also. Today we have different kind of workouts. In fact, I'm coming from the gym right now.
You are such an inspiration, I have to say.
So we also have group exercise, like we have aqua aerobics at Savera, and they are fantastic. And we've just restarted everything after 2 years. So
Right.
everything seems even more beautiful, Shilpa.
Right.
The group energy, and it's all for a good reason. You're going to be better than yourself, So I think fitness, guys, find time for it. Please find time for it because it's only going to help you, nothing else,
I'm going to take inspiration from this and find my time today because honestly, I feel like, if Ms. Neena Reddy running so many businesses, being such an integral part of society can take an hour off, I think we should all do that. We can do that, right? Superb. So, babes,
coming back to
yeah, babes on
bikes,
bikes.
I think it's Rajiv's favorite topic also.
I know he's been reminding me to talk about you and the cycling phenomenon itself.
Because I think, what has happened in the city is also, the smart bikes, which, there are also associated with you all.
Right.
I think you've made, cycling accessible to a lot of people. I love that concept. So Babes on Bikes is about, we've crossed over 6-7 years, and that's a neutral field where you also have boys on bikes, Average age is about, say, 30. And again, we go older than that. Again, the older people are even more enthusiastic. But everyone's into cycling. You have cycled earlier when you were growing up as teenagers. So that's the bunch of people that we have. But let me tell you, this is a mad bunch of people. And the energy that you find there, you won't find anywhere else.
I actually have to just pop in there and say I have actually seen one of your events and you guys love to have fun. This was one event where you were cycling from Mahabalipuram back into the city, if I'm not wrong. And then this was obviously an hour and a half long ride, if not longer. And then you came in and there was a dance event at the end of it. And we were like, I don't know if they can keep up, but here you were, just on top of your game and having a great time. So I completely believe you when you say you're a mad bunch of people.
Because I think fitness doesn't deplete your energy. This is where we should get it right. It enhances it. And of course, you have to have the right kind of food to go with it. You can't have food that brings on your energy. So it's all a cycling.
Superb. Yeah. So, like you said, it's all a cycle. So, my question to you at this point would be: a lot of, I'm sure, young women, young minds want to kind of get into the fitness journey. So, how easy is it to kind of get onto, say, a cycle and keep going at it?
Okay, first just start.
Okay,
just have the intention to start. And don't have fear about the traffic because we travel in the morning when it's about 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock and there's comparatively less traffic. And we are very clear about safety measures. Your helmet, your knee pads and things like that if you need them. And of course, you need to have, lights on your cycle, which is most important so that no one will come and hit you. But most of all, it's freedom. I can't even explain that feeling, when you're on your bike and going into that cool weather, cycling on the road. I can't even describe the feeling. You have to be there to do it.
And of course, now that Chennai as a city, we seem to be evolving in the right direction. Like you said, there are smart bikes, there are cycling lanes. Yes. Do you think the city has kept up with all this?
Thanks to the CM, I think Mr. Stalin himself cycles. So I think that's where the empathy factor comes from. You understand because you're so vulnerable on the road. And it's really, and we always wished, all these 6 years, I wish someone would think about a cycling lane, and it has happened.
Right.
So, and in fact, the pandemic has also thrown open many more cyclists. In fact, our membership is going up also because more people want to cycle. And we have, and at the end of the ride, we all come back to Savera and have a hot cup of tea and coffee and bond there. And the bonding sessions are very, very special. We are there for each other through everything, ups and downs. So this group is really, really special to me.
Like I said, the most obvious question that everybody would expect me to ask you is this: what is the advice that you have for anyone who kind of wants to get started, ma'am? Because you have gotten started, and how?
I think it's all about, the one thing I missed out, and my team is going to be very upset. That is the Nivi group of restaurants,
Okay.
which was newly started. When I say newly, it was, again, 15 years back.
In the grand scheme of things, 15 years, I think, is relatively new.
So it is, the restaurants are on the ECR, and we've also got into, farming and things like that. Again, being relevant.
Right.
It's all about being organic food and things like that. So we've just reopened our kebab court, which is on the ECR, which is doing really well.
Wow. That's
so
lovely.
Coming back to what
So what is
drives
the
me,
advice? Yeah. What is the advice and what drives you that we can take inspiration from?
Yeah. I think it's all about first being passionate about what you want. We have to know what we want, right? If you don't know, explore everything possible. When I came into Chennai, I'm talking about 42 years back, I was still a student. I was doing my exam in Hyderabad and, starting
Coming in
to live here. But I had decided at that point of time, this was going to be the place I'm going to live fully. This is going to be my city. And I love it with all my heart. I don't think I can live anywhere else except Number Chennai.
And we can see how much you love it just by the kind of work that you have put into the city, right? With an establishment like Savera Hotels, like now the Nivi restaurants. Again, keeping up with the trends is one thing, but making sure that the old does not go, that is another thing. There have been so many changes we have seen in the last couple of years where a lot of businesses have, kind of given up, or we're seeing on a downtrend on a lot of them. But of course, I think it's your passion that drives all of them.
That's it. And you have to transfer that passion into a good bunch of other people around you who believe in it, who can deliver. Of course, they can't be at the same point that you are, but you can always keep transcending. If you're working with them closely, they'll understand exactly what you like. For example, if I'm sitting for a meal, everyone knows that I love my spinach. I have to have it every day of my life, okay? So even without knowing, spinach comes slowly onto the table wherever I am dining. I'm dining in any of my establishments. That's because they also know what you want. The same way, I think nothing works without a purpose. And the purpose has to have like a larger picture, and it can't be just about yourself. That is so short-lived and very uninteresting. It has to be like you're able to make a difference to someone else, and it has to be a win-win situation wherever you're dealing with people. You have to win, they have to win,
Right.
And that'll keep them going. So there's this additional energy and positivity when that happens, So I think a lot of hard work, but do your hard work with fun. I think that's what it is.
Right.
Don't be afraid to fail, because I think it's awful when you don't try at all.
That's true. Just the fear of failure, I think, holds back more people than the
Right.
actual failure.
I must tell you what happened. There was a Sanskritam that we had taken up in the last, and then we have started learning bhajans also in the last 2 years. And I'm so grateful that pandemic has given me the time to focus on my learning, which you leave behind many years back, right? And it was wonderful to sit in the nights and learn for the exam. Shilpa, I can't even describe it. There's nothing to complain about. And then we all aced the exam by the end of it.
Superb. So I think just the fact that, like you said, have a solid group around you, make sure that you're having fun, working hard, and most importantly, just start. I think just a bunch of real inspiration right here. But I'm going to ask you, you've had such amazing success. Like I said, so many brands that associated with just your name. So I'm sure you have faced some kind of a failure, some kind of a difficult period at some point. So as we kind of draw this conversation to a close, my next question to you is, how do you deal with failure?
I'll be fooling everyone around if I don't say that I didn't have my share of failures. In fact, my failures have been more than my successes.
Oh,
Right? That's because, there's so many things that you try. And for example, a restaurant that you open is not working. You try and make it work. If it's not working, you close it and move on. There's nothing to prove to anyone, right?
I love that. Yeah.
You don't have to hang on to it and then do things
Just
like
think
that.
of what people will say or how you're going to face your friends. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that, the people pressure should never be there in your life, because I think that's the first step to ruin, If you believe in what you're doing is true and you're true to yourself, and I'm sure things are going to work. How do I deal with failure? I accept it.
As
The
simple as that.
first thing is accept it for what it is. But I would have failed in that particular thing, but I've learned my lessons in different ways.
Right.
So I'll never do the same mistake again. For example, there was this blind rally with the first one that I had taken. I'm talking about again. I'm sorry, but
A couple
I'm
of years
sounding
back.
ancient right here.
Not at all.
So, and then I was with this ace navigator with me, the blind Huzra who was with me. She had won many rallies, and for me, it was my first rally. My team, I'm ashamed to say that, did not trust her ability. And then we just went for this drive and we lost every marshal on the way, and we came almost last because we didn't trust her ability. And I was so ashamed I couldn't even face her afterwards. Next year, same time, you know what happened? She chose me. I was astounded, Shilpa. In fact, we won all the laurels the second year. And
Wow.
then the first question I asked Huzra was, I said, Huzra, why did you choose me when I gave you such a miserable time last year? You know what she said? Because I knew you had learned your lessons and you'll never make the same mistake again.
I have goosebumps.
I promise you, I
Wow.
can never. I have to give credit to all these people who have stood by me, That was the path to, and then I started working with the blind earnestly after that. So there's so many ways that you fail, but you get up. You
And
have
keep
to
going.
accept it, move on, don't make the same mistakes again. But guys, try it out, because life is too short and the pandemic has proved it even in
Absolutely.
many ways.
In a very
you know?
literal sense, like life could be, too short or very shaky at the moment.
Right?
That's
So
true.
just go try what your heart is telling you to do. So what? You fail most, you succeed in a few things. It's fine. Life is beautiful, isn't it?
Well, what a lovely note. Life truly is beautiful. And honestly, I think this conversation has kind of reminded us that, it is the journey that matters. It's not just the end destination. It's not just, having like a title behind your name or having these brand names behind your name. So what can Chennai, this lovely city, and of course, people across the world, what can we expect from Miss Neena Reddy next? What's new?
Right. It's also, I think we've gone back to 2 years back, because I think the journey had stopped somewhere. It was because of that. No regrets. Again, lots of lessons learned. We've scaled down some of the businesses that we've had, but I would like to move into a space where it's a greener space. Make it more environment friendly in whatever different kind of ways. Work more with animals. Make sure that many of our voiceless friends are taken care of. There's so much you can do. So much you can do. It's endless. And I'm not planning ahead. I stopped planning much ahead.
Okay.
I'm living 100, 200% for the day.
In the moment. That's lovely. So, no matter what journey you kind of embark on next, alongside the others, I think you're going to have the complete support of the city, of people, all around the city who have seen you kind of transcend into a completely evolved space. So, thank you so much for, setting the tone right, for making, for making us kind of realize that you do have to have fun while you're doing all this hard work. So, you're probably the best person to ask the next question to, which I promise is my last question. But on this Women's Day, what do you have to say to the women out there?
First of all, I want to thank everyone in Chennai who's listening to this conversation, because, like I said, this is the best city that I know, and this is like my lifeline, and I owe everything I have to Chennai, right? And I'm saying it from my heart. And I've also got 2 sons-in-laws from the same city.
Chennai.
So very, very grateful for everything. So God bless Chennai.
Superb.
Yeah, so to all the women out there, I don't want you all to think that you're different. I've never looked at myself as of a different gender. Whatever decisions I've taken, it's all about, I'm a part of this whole universe. There's no gender. We're all equal. Men, women are all equal. If you look at it like that, and I think viewing each other as friends is so important. Don't look at them as different, And one more thing I don't want women to do is ask for help.
Oh,
No,
okay.
just say, because I'm a woman, give me more
Oh.
privileges. That doesn't sound very true, You just prove yourself in whatever ways you can. Put all your 100% into it. And the person noticing you will make sure that they give you that little extra leeway. For example, when you have a baby, they give you a little more time to, take time
Right.
off or
Yes.
things like that. So you don't have to ask. I think it also, the way you work, people will realize and then they'll give you that space to grow. And it's important for that growth.
Well, here's hoping that everyone who's kind of stepping into a newer space of their life has that space to grow, has that space to evolve. And of course, we will definitely be taking a leaf out of your book. So thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, ma'am. Thank you for all the, candor that you have brought to this conversation. And thank you for being so inspiring.
This is Chennai Live, Radio Redefined.